Why can't President Biden answer a simple question? Anytime he is confronted with questions over the alleged Burisma bribery scheme, he breaks out into like this weird ear-to-ear grin as if one of his aides just told him that the ice cream truck had stopped by the White House. Then he'll laugh it off, and then he'll offer some condescending responses to reporters' questions.
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
It's a bunch of malarkey.
why did the Ukraine FBI informant file refer to you as the why is that term continuously applied? Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Why ask such a dumb question?
I mean, Biden may be having a jolly old time right now, but Republicans are hoping they're going to have the last laugh when, obviously this investigation is all said and done. Well, joining me now, Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations and Research at Judicial Watch. Chris, I'm very concerned here about the lack of concern from the White House. They're not answering any questions on it. They're laughing about it. And do they just think that the mail's already sent?
They do. Remember, we uncovered records that documented Hunter Biden taking 411 flights with his dad when he was vice president. Whoa. 26 of those flights overseas, and of those 26 flights, 5 were to China. And Biden still looks in the camera and says he has no idea what his son's business activities are. We've been lied to now for so long that we're willing to accept this kind of, condescending, arrogant, blow-off response to questions.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned as to why the House Judiciary Committee isn't moving on impeachment now, not in 6 months,
right.
Not when they're comfortable. Take the Adam Schiff mentality, right?
Yeah.
They ran an impeachment out of the Intelligence Committee, not the Judiciary Committee, because they were hell-bent on impeaching Trump. Why the Republicans sit back and let Biden slide, I can't explain it.
Well, here's an opinion piece from last month, the Washington Post of all places, regarding the Biden investigation. They wrote, quote, "The U.S. government's lecturing other countries about corruption looks laughable when presidential offspring seems to be shilling access like a guy on the corner selling fake Rolexes." Now, this might be the only liberal outlet which actually gave some viability to this. But, to your point, when the Democrats get in charge, they don't care if there's a smoking gun or not. They're just going to investigate you until they find something that could be totally unrelated. Why don't we do the same?
And Comer has already uncovered substantial documentation. He's got all these suspicious activity reports out of the Treasury. He's got this 1023 that the FBI, Christopher Wray totally punked them, making them go in a skiff to look at an unclassified document. And then they roll over and they drop their contempt of Congress hearings they're going to have. That's when they should have doubled down on Wray, not given up on him.
Yeah.
So they never cease to clutch defeat from the jaws of victory, right? Over and over again, they're in a position to really move, and they kind of punt the ball and get around to it next week and promise a hearing. They really need to move aggressively.
Yeah, well, I want to get over to Mike Pence, speaking of aggressive, because he's the opposite of that. But he was just interviewed by the New York Post. The former vice president says if he becomes president, then Christopher Wray's days as the FBI director are actually numbered. Now, Wray, as we all know, was appointed to the position in 2017 by Trump. But, obviously has proved to be, especially when it comes to the 1023s over Biden, been proved to be not exactly friendly to the rule of law.
Yeah, Christopher Wray is a disgrace, and he should be removed from office. He's all about damage control and institutional preservation of the FBI. He doesn't give a damn about anything else. Now, Pence is irrelevant. I guess his campaign is like a fundraising gimmick or something. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to be elected president. He's entitled to his opinion. That's great. But I just don't see his candidacy moving beyond, first gear.
Yeah, it's actually, you wonder. It's like some people run for president for profile. Some people do it for fundraising. I mean, when you have a number of people like that, do you think that there's any way that we stop this in our cycle? Because what it does is it just tears the Republican Party apart when people run who know they won't win.
I think there's enough people, though, that look at his campaign and realize it's going nowhere. So there isn't really a lot of energy and a lot of dollars behind it. And I think he's an irrelevancy. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't matter. So let him do his thing. Hooray. Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares? All right, Chris Farrell, we appreciate you being here.
Sure.
All right. Coming up.